the law of war is not optional. In other words, the United States has to comply with it. Israel has to comply with it. So the question is, how do you accomplish this mission while complying with the law of war? And the basic obligations there's the law of land warfare manual, field manual. We can put a link to it in the show notes if you are an absolute super nerd. But it's hundreds of pages that are basically articulating 5 principles. So these are the 5 non-optional principles that have to inform your strategy. One is military necessity. That is, it's the use of all measures required to defeat the enemy as quickly and efficiently as possible that are not prohibited. So in other words, military necessity is what gives you the impetus to, it empowers you to fight, but only in such a way as to accomplish the military necessity and no further. Then there's humanity. So this is your basis of protection for civilian, forbids inflicting unnecessary suffering, injury, damage that's not connected to the legitimate military purpose. Then here's one that you might laugh, but honor. There's sort of required a certain amount of fairness and mutual respect. So in other words, if somebody is wounded or if somebody is you believe they're trying to surrender, there's a certain degree of fairness that locks in. Then there's distinction. And this means you have to distinguish between civilian and military objectives and civilian and military objects in the fight. And then this last one is the most misunderstood, and it's proportionality. Now, a lot of people hear proportionality and they might see, well, the Palestinians suffered more casualties than the Israelis, or the Palestinians suffered more damage than the Israelis. This is not a rule that says if one person is killed, it's disproportionate if 2 people are killed in response. Or this is not a rule that says if you shoot at me with a rifle, I have to shoot back to you with a rifle. It's essentially a rule that says the force that I use cannot be more force than is necessary to accomplish the objective. So if all the jihadists are in one building, you can attack that building. You can't just decide, well, there's a building in a village, I'm going to blow up the whole village to get the building, if that makes sense. And so these are non-optional obligations that confront Israel as it is starting to push into Gaza.